In this lesson, we'll examine a variety of general tips to consider when tackling critical reasoning questions. We'll cover question type frequencies, GMAT words, accept questions, and being aggressive. Let's begin with question type frequencies. Now at this point in the module, we have examined the strategies for tackling all 8 types of critical reasoning questions. However, as you prepare for the GMAT, it's important to know that these 8 question types are not tested with the same frequencies. In fact, the majority of questions fall into one of these 4 categories, and in most cases, they will account for over 3/4 of the critical reasoning questions you encounter on test day. Given this, it's imperative that you devote the majority of your critical reasoning prep time to strengthening your ability to solve the 4 most common types. Okay, that's all I need to say about that. The next topic has to do with certain words on the GMAT. To begin, it's important to know that in our daily lives, we often use words differently from how the GMAT uses them. For example, in our daily lives, when we say everybody likes ice cream, we mean a lot of people like ice cream, or most people like ice cream. However, if a critical reasoning question on the GMAT says everybody likes ice cream, this means that every single person on Earth likes ice cream. So on the GMAT, we must read words in their strongest, most literal sense. Here are some examples of words that must be read in their strongest sense possible. Now you should also know about GMAT words that do not have extreme definitions. We'll begin with some. When we use it in a sentence, what does it mean to say that some GigaCore employees are college graduates? Well, despite how this word is used in daily activities, on the GMAT, some means one or more. So given this, it is 100% correct to say that some countries in Europe are named Italy, even though there's only one European country named Italy. It's also correct to say that some of Earth's oceans contain salt water, even though all of the oceans contain salt water. Another word we should discuss is most. On the GMAT, when most refers to some relative frequency, most is defined as more than 50%. Given this, it is correct to say that most of Earth's oceans contain salt water. Alright, so those are the important GMAT words to remember. Now let's move on to our next topic, which is accept questions. Occasionally, you'll find GMAT questions that ask you to find the answer choice that does not meet some requirement. Here's an example. Today, Gary did not arrive at the office until 11 a.m., therefore Gary will be fired. Each of the following, if true, weakens the conclusion above, except. Now first of all, it's important to note that adding the word except here does not mean that we are now looking for the answer choice that strengthens the conclusion. We're looking for the answer choice that does not weaken the conclusion. So the correct answer choice can be either one that has no effect on the conclusion or one that strengthens the conclusion. Now, accept questions are unusual in that our minds are not programmed to handle them very well. Almost all of our schooling has set us up to look for answers to questions, and accept questions ask us to find something that is not the answer to a question. This negative direction can trick us. For example, consider the following question. Each of the following people is a former president of the United States, except. Now at this point, we can't help but begin thinking of former presidents. And when we get to the first answer choice, we see that it matches what we were already thinking, and we may instinctively select it because this is how we've been programmed. To avoid this, it's useful to turn a negative question into a positive direction. So we'll take this negative direction and reword it as, if the person is a former US president, eliminate it. Now that we have a positive, proactive direction, we'll check the answer choices. Answer choice A, Abraham Lincoln is a former US president, eliminate it. Answer choice B, George Washington is a former US president, eliminate it. And so on. Once we've checked all of the answer choices, the one that we are unable to eliminate will be the correct answer. Okay, now let's return to the original question. Here we'll take the negative question stem and rewrite it as, if it weakens the conclusion, eliminate it. Now that we have a positive, proactive direction to follow, it's time to check the answer choices. Answer choice A, work begins at noon. Does this weaken the conclusion? Yes, it does, so eliminate it. Answer choice B, Gary is self-employed. Does this weaken the conclusion? Yes, it does, so eliminate it. Answer choice C, Gary likes ice cream. Does this weaken the conclusion? Nope, so we cannot eliminate it. Once we have checked all of the answer choices, we'll see that since C does not weaken the conclusion, it will be the correct answer. Okay, so that's the strategy for handling except questions. The last topic of discussion has to do with being aggressive. Now, as you may already know, critical reasoning questions can be very time-consuming. The passages can be quite long, and the answer choices are often confusing. So even under the best conditions, these questions are not easy to answer in under 2 minutes. And given the adaptive nature of the GMAT, you will soon see questions that are out of your comfort range. When this happens, students often get lost in the answer choices. They come to an answer choice that doesn't seem like the right answer, but rather than eliminate it, they try to find some reason to keep it. These students are so concerned that they might accidentally eliminate the correct answer that they start thinking of scenarios where the answer choice might possibly be right. Eventually, these students convince themselves that they should keep the questionable answer choice just for the time being. Then they move on to the next answer choice where the same thing happens, and this answer choice is kept for the time being, even though it doesn't seem right either. And so on. Then, after reviewing all of the answer choices, our cautious students still have 3 or 4 answer choices remaining. So they go back and reread each one. Perhaps they reread the passage 1 or 2 more times as well. As you can imagine, this attitude can eat up a lot of time. To perform well on critical reasoning questions, you need to get in and get out as efficiently and effectively as possible. This will require some aggression. So rather than look for reasons to keep an answer choice, you must be ruthless. If an answer choice seems even slightly incorrect, eliminate it and don't look back. Now, our cautious students out there will ask, but what if this aggressive approach causes me to eliminate all of the answer choices? Good question. First of all, this will not happen often. So most of the time, you will be answering the questions quickly and effectively. Second, if and when you do eliminate all of the answer choices, you will have done so quickly, which means you probably have earned enough time to go back and recheck the answers. Plus, you will have at your disposal the extra time that you saved by answering other questions quickly. So the big takeaway is this. Rather than look for reasons to keep answer choices, look for reasons to reject them. This will save you considerable time in the long run. Okay, let's summarize. In this lesson, we examined a variety of general tips to consider when tackling critical reasoning questions.